So in this episode I am going to show you how to remove the drive shaft on a VW T4 2.5 tdi transporter. Why would you need to do this? Well, you might need to change your drive shaft, you might need to change your half shaft or trumpet, or you might need to remove these bits to remove your sump. Mine is an AJT model, which is the same block as the ACV. That's the drive shaft there between the gearbox and the hub, and you need to start with this 27mm nut over here. You will need an impact wrench or a long breaker bar and some way of locking this wheel, either putting it in gear or putting the brakes on, so you can loosen this nut. And then you can move to the inside of that CV joint over there and remove those Allen heads, and then you can pull the drive shaft out. Now this is applicable to removing the half shaft or trumpet, which is back there, which sits between the drive shaft and the gearbox as well. I'll show you a video of that from underneath. So this is what is referred to as the gearbox trumpet on a T4 2.5 tdi drivetrain. That's the gearbox over there on the left hand side of the vehicle, and that is the CV joint with the drive shaft connection. To remove the drive shaft axle bolts, you're going to need one of these 12-point sockets, which is M12. There we go. And there you have it. All of the drive shaft bolts are out now. So you can see the shape of that recessed socket there. It's a 12 star. And with all the bolts out, you can see that the drive shaft CV joint is now separated from the inner intermediate shaft. The actual drive shaft is loose. I have removed the strut, which is now down on the floor over there. It has a 21mm bolt, which is this great big one over here, that goes through the lower strut and then into the bottom of the drop link on the other side. And then at the top, well, there is an 18mm bolt on the front of the strut mounting plate, and then a 19mm nut on the back of the strut mounting plate. And the mounting plate actually comes off with the strut, so the strut is attached to the mounting plate, and then the mounting plate is attached to the chassis over there. So I now have the steering wheel turned full lock to the right, because by my reckoning that is the furthest that I can get it away. Ah, there we go. Whoa! Almost. In order to get the drive shaft out, I had to disconnect the steering, remove the strut, disconnect the lower bolt in the drop link, and also take the two bolts out for the lower ball joint. It is time to refit the drive shaft, and I do not want to use these old bolts, so I have bought a whole bunch of new ones from Phoebe Goldstein. This is the part number for the 12 spine bolts, which are different to Allen bolts like these, which will also work, but I found that these round off a lot better, even if they are high 10 steel like these ones. So I much prefer to buy the 12 spline ones which are like the original. So those do not round off nearly as easily. These half moon washers are what link a pair of bolts around the circumference of the drive shaft. What their purpose is, I'm not 100% sure, but I think it has something to do with keeping the bolts tight. So if you put bolts back on, be sure that you use these half moon washers, even if you do use new bolts. Time to put the drive shaft back on the van with new bolts.